What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Real Estate 360. And listen, so many of you have been trying to get your first deal. I have talked to people that have reached out, sent me messages, people that are in our group. They're minimizing this actual situation here, but um, they can't find deals, or they don't know how to structure the deal, or they've worked with this group and that's not working for them, or all these different strategies. Or they start a thing and that's not working after 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And then they go to another strategy and they're basically, you're just starting all over. So it's important for me to make sure that you clearly understand how to get your first deal. So we're going to abbreviate exactly what that looks like, right? How you can do that, how you start from scratch, what you need to do step by step to really make this happen for yourself. But in the meantime, I want you to prepare yourself, right? If you have any questions, hey, what's going on, Paul? If you have questions, make sure that you comment. Make sure you ask your questions so I can get those things answered for you. That's why we're here. We're here so that I can help you achieve your goals faster than you would have by yourself, especially in a changing world like we have today. So without further ado, let's get to it. This is your man, Jason Miles, Real Estate 360. Let's do it. Being a real estate investor, there's nothing to it.
Sellers are just waiting for my call. Hey.
I'm sick and tired of y'all calling me. Stop calling my phone. I'm just sick of them. Sick.
So basically, there's no competition.
All I have to do, mail these out. Boom. Here comes the money.
Real estate. Easy money.
Hey, get away from my car.
My offers are solid, and they always get accepted.
Be nice.
As real estate investors, we make our own hours.
Now all I have to do is put in these bandit signs.
If you invest in real estate, you know exactly what you just saw. It can be problematic, right? It's the same group of people going after the same group of people saying the same thing to the same group of people. I get it. I've done it all. Some of those strategies can work, but it's all about messaging and numbers. But I'm here to tell you today that there's an absolutely better way to get things done, that you can double what you're doing. If you're a full-time investor already, you should be doing 5 to 10 deals a month. If you're not, let's have a conversation. If you're just getting started, this is the best way for you to go and get started. If you don't have any money to put into marketing and you want to develop a pipeline of deals that's consistently coming through, and you don't have to have the exact same conversation over and over and over again with another new seller. All you have to do is watch this study that I've put together for you. It's a little bit of a training, and let's have a conversation afterward. I've been at this for more than 2 decades, and we've developed strategies and relationships and systems and processes that allow our business to do 15 deals, 12 deals a month per market that we're in. And I want to share this information with you. Click the link below. Let's have a conversation. Peace. All right. Welcome back. Definitely, if you have some questions about how you can hurry up and get there, reach out to me. In fact, what I'm going to abbreviate over the course of the next, 40, 50, 60 minutes is part of what we're going over in some of our private groups right now. How to get your first real estate deal. How do you do it? I'm telling you, I'm dealing with people that have been doing this for years and haven't done a deal, or they've been attempting to do this, I should say, for years. And so today, I'm going to simplify exactly how you do that. And again, if you have questions, make sure that you put it in the comments, because if you've got the question, other people have the question. If they're not watching it today live, they'll be watching it another time on Facebook or in the group or whatever. So make sure you do that. And what's going on, Ken? How you feeling? Glad you're here, man. Thank you. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, I got 2 properties for sale. Let's see. I got 2 properties for sale and I don't have the credit to buy them. Well, that's part of what we're going to go over today. So you can, you can also shoot those over to me. Let me look at them for you and we can see what we can do. There's all kind of things. So let me share exactly what I mean when I'm with this first aspect of it, right? So let me close that down. The first aspect of it, which believe me, a lot of people kind of go over, right? Number 1 here is determining your strategy. What is your strategy going to be in terms of how you're going to acquire and make money in real estate as an investor, right? And the very first one, because they'll tell you there's only 3, but there is 2 others, and 2, I can't see who's got those 2 properties for sale, but I'm going to give you a couple of examples on how you can do these things, right? Depending on what you want to do, of course. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. So one is wholesaling, and it sounds like this person is wholesaling, right? So a lot of people are going to want to start out as wholesalers because that's the hot ticket thing, that and fix and flip, which is the second strategy. But wholesaling requires you to do marketing. Really it all requires you to do some marketing, but you can play different roles at different times. Wholesaling is, for a lot of people, the first step in becoming a real estate investor. But as I tell people, that's not actually investing in real estate. That's arbitrage, right? You're not an actual investor. You're just taking something that's a little bit undervalued, putting yourself in the middle and selling it for a little bit more. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just telling you that's not actually real estate investing. That's the first step. That's the first step. Not that you can't build a business off that. We have. And a lot of people have built huge businesses off of that, right? It's just another strategy. Now, the second one is fix and flip, right? That's your second strategy. Generally, there will be wholesaling is where people like to start. It just depends on the person. It depends on what their attributes are, how much money they have, what their credit looks like, all that great stuff. I own one since 18 and the other since February. I'd love to see them. I'd love to look at them. So definitely DM me. Let me see what we can do. Maybe we can buy them. Maybe we can help you sell them. All right. Maybe we can partner. Just depends. So anyway, fix and flip is the next one. So people will go from wholesaling to fix and flip, right? I wouldn't tell someone that's brand new into real estate to start in fix and flip. If you haven't done renovations before, you're going to need to familiarize yourself with a lot of things, or at least have a partner that has the familiarity that you're going to need, the experience that you're going to need, the context that you're going to need to get involved as a fix and flipper. Because believe me when I tell you, it's not a simple overnight thing, right? You need to know what you're looking at when you're doing these. And then there's buy and hold. So people will go from buy and hold to maybe doing a fix and flip, like the BRRRR strategy: buy, renovate, rent, refi, repeat. So some people will do that because they want to be in the buy and hold strategy. So there's wholesaling, fix and flip, and buy and hold. And you can use creative finance strategies throughout this entire process to do that. But, hello, whoever that is. Hello, welcome. But there are 2 other ways to make money in real estate that they don't share with you as a strategy. And I think it's important that people understand it. And I just mentioned it. Those 2 things are cash partners and credit partners. Cash partners and credit partners. There are a lot of people that get good going out and finding deals to wholesale them off. And maybe they have some things that they want to do. Because I can tell you, as a wholesaler, you've got to do a deal all the time to make any money. At some point in your life or your career, you're going to kind of get sick and tired. You're going to be done with, I got to get up and go hustle for another opportunity because I need to make, $10,000 this month. At some point, you're going to want to build a passive income strategy. You're going to want to get bigger hits even, right? Now is a very difficult time to do fix and flips because interest rates are high, properties are sitting on the market a lot longer. As I teach in my trainings, you've got to buy these things really, really deep. Excuse me. You got to buy these things really, really deep, super deep. And that means as cheap as you can possibly get them if they're cash deals. As cheap as you can possibly get them, because you don't know how long your holding times are going to be. The cost of materials is through the roof, you know? So if you're not getting that thing at a super, super low price, you're going to have a problem. It's tough. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying buy deeper. Let me just be clear. You've got to make sure that you're under the mark. And what is the mark? 70%. Depends on where you are in the country, but in most markets, lenders are at 70% of ARV, okay? So they're going to give you 100% of renovation. Generally, they're going to give you 90% of acquisition, not to exceed 70% of the after repair value, all right? I won't go into that equation right now, but that's what it is, okay? 90% of acquisition is what they're going to give you, so you've got to come up with that 10%. They're going to give you 100% of the money to renovate it, but it can't, those two numbers can't exceed 70% of whatever the after repair value is, and they're being as conservative as we are, the lenders that is. So we need to make sure that when we're putting deals under contract, expecting it to be, you know, cash deals, that we're looking at it from that perspective, okay? I won't get into that right now because we'll be here with that. We'll be here for the next 45 minutes alone. But your three traditional ways is wholesale, fix and flip, and buy and hold. The other two strategies is to become a credit partner or a cash partner. As I don't know your name, person, I'm sorry. Hey, Jeffrey Cook, what if the property is newly renovated? Well, there's nothing wrong with it if it's newly renovated. Depending on what your strategy is to acquire that property, you still got to do your numbers right, okay? So if you're going to look for cash deals, that thing has to be 70% below market value, right? And a lot of times they're not going to do it that way. So bought one for $4,000, but has a tax lien for $5,000, but needs complete rehab. Well, depending on where that property is, that $9,000 that's necessary for you to acquire it could mean nothing. I mean, if you're in a market that's only worth $40,000 or $50,000 after it's renovated, that could be a problem. But you need to determine what that after repair value is and go from there. But to go back to what Jeffrey said, Jeffrey's question was, you know, what if the property is renovated? No problem. But if it's a cash deal, meaning that you plan to put this property under contract and flip it, wholesale it to another cash buyer, you've got to be, you know their lender. I mean, if there's nothing that it needs, they're not going to go get a private, you know, money lender. You know, they're going to use a regular bank to buy it at, you know, 20% down and 80% financing. That's what they're going to do if there's nothing that's needed with it. Having said that, Jeff, if you're using creative financing strategies to get it, you don't necessarily need to be 35% below market value. Why? Because you can show how this property can profit a buy and hold investor by utilizing, Jeff, the template that I gave you, the creative financing template. By plugging numbers in there, doing a little bit of research and say, hey, what can this property rent for? What is the rent in the market? If I'm going to lease option this or do a wraparound mortgage, what is that? What can I get for that? And how can I incentivize someone to come into this neighborhood, into this particular house, and buy it, you know, basically owner financing from you, right? Or whoever you're going to flip it to. You could be flipping it to someone else. You know, you want to be, if you've watched the 2 Year to Millionaire, you want to be at minimum 10% under, and then you're going to sell it a minimum of 10% over. So that's creating your 20% gap, plus you're going to get your down payment. So that's in structuring a creative financing thing. And of course, Jeff, we can get into our one-on-one and go over that as we should, you know, either later tonight or tomorrow morning. Doesn't really matter. It's up to you, my brother. But yeah, we need to talk about it and work that deal all the way through. Looking at the numbers, seeing, you know, how long it's been listed, because I see it listed, and then go from there. Good evening, my name is Michael. Okay, cool. I'll get back to Michael here in a little bit. We're just getting some people. We have people watching on LinkedIn. We've got people on YouTube. We have people on Facebook. We got people on Twitter. So people are commenting left and right. Not all of them are filtering right into here, unfortunately, but that's all right. I'll get back with you, Michael, for sure. All right, so those are our 5 strategies that you got to be familiar with. You have to be familiar with those 5 strategies. The 3 everybody's going to teach you is wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold. But being or finding credit partners, being or finding cash partners is going to help you accelerate your actual investment career, right? You partner with people. It doesn't matter if you're giving them 50 cents on the dollar. If they're bringing all the cash and all the credit in some cases, hey, do your thing. Whatever you can negotiate. It might be 30%, 40%, 20%, 50%. It doesn't really matter. You're going to have it all set up so you can get the money. If you can find the deals, like for me, I do 30, 40, 50% deals with people all the time. It depends on how involved our company has to be. If I've got to do all the management, find the people, this, that, and the other, we're going to be somewhere between 30 and 40% for sure. But in the beginning, I was going 50-50 across the board because I didn't have a ton of people to call and say, hey, let's partner on a deal. So I had to make it appetizing for that particular investor. And so that's exactly what I did, right? All right, so let's get to our second one. So our second one here, let me go ahead and get that highlighted for you, is to stay focused. Stay focused. So many people get lost in a very simple way. As I outlined it a little bit earlier in the very beginning in the introduction to this. People get lost. They pick a strategy and then they go, okay, let's say that you're going to do a direct mail campaign, for instance. Okay. People will start that strategy and be like, oh, it's not working. Instead of getting better at that strategy, they're like, oh, it's not working 30 days in. And then they go to another strategy and they're starting all over again. And that could be cold calling. And then 30 days in, they go to say it's not working and they go to another strategy and so on and so forth. And guess what happens? Nothing. Because they're not following up with people. You're watching all the other YouTube channels and all the other real estate trainers and they're like, oh, this is so great. Do this, do that. Oh, here's a way for you to find deals. And then it sends you off track. You know why it works for them? Because they never stop the marketing techniques and strategies they already have in place. They're refining them as they go, and they're adding to them as time goes on. So when you hear the person that you respect as a real estate investor on YouTube or wherever you're watching them, I guess generally it would be in YouTube, right? You're like, oh, okay, it's working for them. It's going to work for me. It's working for them because they're going to stick to it for 90, 120 days, 6 months, because that's what it takes sometimes. I tell people, focus on a 90-day period because you have to follow up. You have to refine your processes and see what works and talk to other people that are implementing a similar strategy but getting different results. So if you're not doing that, it's putting you in a bad situation where you're always starting over. 30 days isn't enough time. Can you get a deal in 30 days? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you got to get good at talking to people and negotiating first, right? And following up with people because that's where the money is. I don't care what anybody says. Unless you're able to send out 30 to 50,000 mailers every single month and get, the 5 or 6 or maybe 10 deals that it's going to produce in a market like this, because you'll still make money. But unless you're going to do that, forget it. Forget it. It's just not going to work for you if you're not following up. So you have to follow up and you have to follow the process. What is the process? Look, we make it pretty simple. If you're doing creative financing, I just want to let you know in the description of this, you can get the forms for free right there. And Jeff, I hope I was able to answer your question. And a user on Facebook, I don't see your name. I'm sorry. I just see that just says Facebook user. I'm hoping that you send me that information and I can reach out to you and we can have a conversation about that for sure and see where I can help you. But anyway, you have to stay focused, get around the people that you aspire to be like, what you're working for. That means, going to meetup groups, just coming into places like this, getting active, right? Getting active, being active, be around the people that you want to be like, that you're not necessarily be like them. You know what I mean? You want to get to the level they are, or better, or or just get moving, whatever the case. But you need to be around the people that you want to be like, that are doing the things that you want to do. Because if you're not, forget it. Who are you going to be speaking to? Who are you talking to on a daily basis? What are you talking about? If you have decided that real estate is going to be your thing, that needs to be the thing you talk about. I'm not saying, 100% of the waking of your waking day, but what I am saying, it has to dominate your conversation. That's what you're trying to figure out. You're trying to learn how to do this stuff. And even when you learn it, all you're going to do is be in this level to get to this level, to get to this level, and so on and so forth. Because that's what's going to happen. If you want to be, I don't know, if you want to make your first 50,000, you need to surround yourself with 5 people, 3 to 5 people, I would say 5 people, that are making $50,000. And talk to them on a regular basis. In fact, talk to at least one of them, every day. You need to be talking to all of them. Not all of them every day, but at least one of those people every day of the week. All right. And figure out what they're doing. Talk to them and go from there. If you want to be 100,000, be around people that make 100,000 or more. You want to make 1 million, be around people that are making at least 1 million or more. Those are the only people that are going to be able to help you. Period. Point blank. You have to put yourself around them. And guess what? Where do you do that? Again, meetup groups, groups like this, just whatever kind of social thing that you can get around and be around those people. That you're going to find people, I'd say, that are just starting out all the way to maybe the 500,000 mark, maybe a little less, but in groups like this and in your meetup groups. Those folks that are at 1 million or more, they're generally not sitting around here. Now, I'm not saying that they're not. Because I can promise you there are a few, but that's just a few. So you want to put yourself in those big places. You want to get involved in mastermind groups. Like, of course I'm going to pitch our stuff in. We have one coming up at the end of September. You want to be around these people because they're going to help you get what you're trying to get. They're going to help you achieve what you're trying to achieve. That is how you do it. Okay? So you have to stay focused. Stay focused on your strategy and be around people that are going to help you get there. If you're not doing that, you're not going to get there. Okay? It doesn't mean sometimes you have to physically go to be there, because sometimes you can't do that. But you can always participate in groups like this, platforms like we have, not just the stuff on YouTube here, but the thing we have, our Facebook group. We have a community over 1,200 people and growing. We're approaching 1,300 now. Thank you, by the way. Thank you all so very much. But we need that participation. Share your deals. Say what it is you're looking for. I'm looking for a cash partner on this. I'm looking for a credit partner on that. I have this wholesale deal for sale, cash. I have a creative finance deal over here. Do it all. That's what we're here for. We're here to help each other, okay? All right. So make sure you're around folks. Make sure you're around people that are going to help you get there. That is really the only thing you can do, okay? So now, hold on a second. We're at number 3, the top there. Got to get a sip of water. Ooh, that's good. Cold water. Lead generation. Lead generation is obviously the key. People don't put the energy in. It goes back to what we were talking about before. They keep on switching up before they give themselves enough time to actually find and or create success for themselves. You got to do it. You got to do lead generation. And how do you do it? Where do you get your deals from? Right? That's what lead generation is. Where do you get them? DTS is direct to seller. DTA is direct to agent. Right? So let me say DTS. How do we do that? How do we go direct to seller? Anybody have some ideas? How do we go direct to seller? Just drop that in. Let me know what you think, and I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I know. I know exactly how to do direct to seller, right? If you know, tell me, share with me. Share with me what you do to go direct to seller. Here's what we do. Cold calling, direct to seller, right? Reach out to them directly. I mean, that's That's what direct to seller is, user on Facebook. Mailers and cold calling. That's right. So, and there's all kind of mailers that you can do, right? You can get a um, expired listing list. You can get, there's all kind of lists that you can get where you can go and either call them, knock on their doors, send them mailers. There's all kind of different things. I knock on their doors. Yes, I keep telling people about a partner I have, a buddy I have. His name is Dawsey. Dawsey is the king of door knocking. I've never seen anybody do it as good as him. I used to do it, but this guy will go out, for 3 weeks out of the month and do 7 or 8 deals. I mean, he's really good at it. He knows how to identify his areas. He knows what is going to get people going. He knows how to get to them. We have tricks and techniques that we show people inside of our training group in terms, I hate to call it a trick, it's a technique, but how to circumvent a lot of these, the cold calling activities and direct mail activities and get to an owner in specific areas, right? Very cost effective to do. In fact, I did a whole video on it. I'll put it in the link over here and share it with you. It's on YouTube. Basically how I made $17,000 and change in 30 days. That's what it's called. It's on YouTube. You can see it there. One strategy. That one strategy cost me $50. I got 2 deals out of it, right? So, and that's just direct to seller. Direct to agent. Absolutely fantastic in the market that we're doing right now. Just absolutely fantastic. I don't know why more people don't do it, right? But that's fine. Please don't do it. I see contractors working, and I see, let me see. I see contractors working, and I stop to see who the owner is and reach out to them. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. You know how we do that? Because we used to do that as well. Now I have a service where I can go and look at all properties that have been bought and flipped in the past 12 months. And I can find all those owners like that, like in seconds. And anybody who's in our training, we do the exact same thing. That helps us find buyers. It helps us find sellers. It helps us find capital that we want to raise, partners that we want to, talk to and see. I mean, all of that. It's great, right? We're looking for those folks, but that's a great way as well. It's also a great way to find great contractors. Absolutely, right? So to that point, other wholesalers, right? We get deals from other wholesalers, other investors. Wholesalers and investors. Why do we get deals from them? We've got investors that are marketing, but they're only looking for specific types of deals and they don't really want the other ones, right? And we deal with wholesalers that are making bad deals, and we come in and renegotiate all those deals and maybe do creative finance structures with those deals. Most of those are what we do in that situation. A lot of these wholesalers, in their angst to get a deal, I just got to have a deal. They'll go out and sign bad deals, tell these sellers just whatever. All kind of craziness comes out of their mouth at sometimes just because they want to have that contract. They want to have something to market, but they're marketing bad deals. I see it all the time. I see buyers buying bad deals from these big companies that are focused only on selling things to investors, right? But a bad deal to me may not be a bad deal to them, right? There's turnkey things. There's all kind of different things that are, things that, unless they're structured in a certain kind of way, if we're not buying them super deep, it has to be a creative finance structure where we can see how much money we're going to be making on the deal. We know what the market's going to bear, whether we're, again, doing a wrap or a lease option or an Airbnb, short-term rentals, whatever. We need to be able to see where the money's coming in and understand, okay, like we're doing a deal now. Payment on the thing is, and shout out to Selena. She just got her first deal. Shout out to Selena. Please help me find a super cheap deal, Mississippi and Alabama. Well, you can find 1 million of them in Mississippi. Alabama's got a few areas that you're still going to find them affordable. I mean, we're marketing in some of those areas right now in Alabama, specifically in Alabama. We bought a bunch of houses in, probably only 3-4 houses in Alabama. In Mississippi, just because it's it's a slower state, bottom line. It depends on what you're buying, but you're not going to get an enormous amount of money in rent. Congrats on the deal, lady. Yes. Congratulations to Selena. We worked that deal. I helped her out. We got on the phone. I helped close the deal out for her. Boom, boom. Payment on that thing is only $1,401 a month. It will rent. Well, we'll owner financing out for probably $4,000 a month. You know, that's a sweet deal. There's a ton of equity that we can't really tap into until the market turns around. But for now, hey, listen, she's going to wholesale that deal off to someone, and someone is going to make, you know, after insurance and taxes, are probably going to make about $1,700 or $1,800 a month, depending on what those two expenses are over there. I haven't done the pre-work yet, but at any rate, you know, you get these deals, and she, by the way, is a wholesaler. Okay, she's someone other investors that have a buy and hold strategy can buy those deals from, that are going to cash flow for them and give them equity positions tomorrow. Right? Beautiful, beautiful opportunity for her. Beautiful opportunity for the person that ultimately buys it from her. I won't lie. I'm going to put it out there to try to help her sell it, but I might be a buyer for that particular property. It's a beautiful house. I'm not even going to get into it right now, but going back in, auctions. There are all kind of auction sites all over the internet for real estate. There's the foreclosures, right? There's the foreclosure sites. You can get, which is very difficult, but you can go to your local city or county violations office, you know, and look for water shutoffs, any fines, you know, that people have, you know, active code enforcement violations that they have, got to go to court on, or whatever the case. A lot of times people just don't want these things, right? And they definitely don't want to have to come from out of state just to go to a court hearing to hear that they've got to pay, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Personal meeting with you. Okay, this Facebook person, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. It just doesn't pop up. It just says Facebook user. How can I set up a personal meeting with you, sir? I will fly south for a day just to talk and learn from you. Oh, hey, listen, I really appreciate that. But in the description to this, there's a link in there where you can just check something out, check out a little video, but at any time you can just hit a link, set up an appointment. We'll do a Zoom meeting, have a conversation, and go from there. See what your needs are and see how we can work with one another, or how I can help you just in general. Okay? That's cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I definitely look forward to hearing from you soon, but the link is in the description. And now moving on to the next part of lead generation is referrals. A referral is a great way, but you have to build that over time. You got to build that over time for sure. But if you build that, I mean, and where do they come from? They come again from homeowners. They come from agents. They come from attorneys. They come from anyone that you've come in contact with throughout your career that says, you know, I know someone who's got this situation. I get them from attorneys all the time. Why would an attorney give those to me? Well, because they're handling these things. You know, they're doing bankruptcies for people. They're doing evictions for people and foreclosures for people. And when I can come in and say, listen, can I buy that paper? You know, maybe at a discount, whatever the case, let me buy it and go from there. You know, we can stop this foreclosure process if the person is willing to sign a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and I'll take it over. I do it all the time. I do it with local hard money lenders are easier to deal with from that perspective than the big ones that are all around the country. So you can connect with local hard money lenders, get referrals from them. And if you're looking to buy and you know, do fix and flips or buy and hold, great way to potentially get them depending on what they sell them to you for. And finally, you can go work for someone. Go work pro bono for someone for a while. Learn the systems, the thing that you have a problem with. If you don't have the money to invest in yourself right now, go work for someone. There's a ton of people out here that would love for you to come work for them for free or for a small weekly stipend. You'll be learning, they'll be getting what they want, you'll be getting what you want, and you'll be developing a relationship with someone that's 10 toes down in that ground that you're working in. So, and that's what you need. Those are the ways that you're going to do these things, right? Okay, and I want to make sure we get through this, and we're going to get to number 4 here. Okay, so number 4 is talk to sellers, agents, wholesalers to set yourself apart from the competition. How do you do that? How do you do that? What do you say? You know, what do you do? And that's a big problem that people have. What am I going to say to this person? You know, when I call this seller, what am I going to say? What do I say to the agent? You know, how do I talk to the wholesaler? What am I asking the wholesaler for? You know, if they've got real estate, why do they need me? Well, they need you because you might be able to sell it. You need them because you might be able to see it differently than they saw it. They put a bad deal together and now you can come in and retool it and fix it and make it something marketable to someone who would actually want to have it. Showing people how they're going to profit from this particular house, not just throwing it out there and saying, here's one, take a peek. That's not what we teach. You know, that's not what we do over here. When we put marketing material out, we're showing you how you're going to make money on this. We're telling you. Now, you don't have to do what we recommend. You can do whatever you want to do. But we show you what we recommend. And then we give it to you and you want it and you go from there. And that's the end of that. On to the next. But one of the most important things when you're talking, especially when you're talking to sellers and agents, don't talk too much. Don't talk too much. Just get to the point. When you're talking to sellers and you want to hear what their pain is. When you're talking to agents, you want to hear what their pain is, but it'll be different, right? When you talk to a seller, let's say you're talking to a seller and an agent for the same property. That seller's going to say, oh, this agent ain't nothing. I need to get this property sold. We've had it on the market now for 5 months. Nothing's happening. We're getting offers. They're lowballing us. We can't do this. We need to get it off our books. Then you talk to the agent that's representing that seller and you ask him what are your issues? Oh, I have an absolutely unrealistic seller. They don't want to do this. They don't want to look at that. They don't want to hear this. I told them this, blah, blah, blah. Well, I would know when I'm in that conversation that, hey, agent, you shouldn't have took the listing because you knew this was going to happen, right? You knew that they were unrealistic then, but you were so anxious to have a contract that you just did whatever. So what I tell them, if they're interested in having a conversation about creative financing, that's the only way that I'm going to be able to help them out. And by the way, I will make sure that you get paid on this deal, as long as you're okay with taking a fee instead of your commission. Because you're not going to, in 30 days, you're not going to make anything on this deal. What do you want to do? You know, I'm not bullying them into something because sometimes they say no. We had I think it was Mike. It could have been someone else who was talking to an agent earlier in the week. This people in our group, and the agent was completely unwilling to talk about a fee. Was only interested in their 3%. Was accusing him of counting her money, and that wasn't what was going on. He was just telling him, "Look, I can fix this for you and get this thing sold out, so it's not going to be an expired listing." Because as soon as I've already got the people's information. As soon as it expires, I'm going to just call them. They only have a 180-day contract with you. I'll call them on 181, 182 and make the same deal that I'm going to make with you for them, just with them. And guess what? You won't get your 3% or a fee at that point. You'll be out. Done. Or you can take my offer, show it to them, tell them why this is good, but you got to let me explain it to you because they already, to a certain point, know, like, and trust you. You have to allow me to explain it to you, and I'm perfectly content with getting on a call and working this out with you. Perfectly content with the three of us getting on a call without cutting you out. Okay? She was offended that I even mentioned her money. Yeah, that's Mike. That's Mike. I know that's you, Mike, because welcome, Mike. Yeah, she was offended. Mike called me and he was laughing. He wasn't upset, but he was laughing. We had a whole conversation about that. But you're going to have those kind of people, right? That'll cut off their nose to spite their face. We know them. We live with a lot of them in our lives. It is what it is, right? So don't talk too much and get straight to the pain points. Find out what their motivation is. Listen to what they have to say. Don't be the smart person. I constantly tell people that. Now, when you're dealing with wholesalers, different situation. Be the smart person. You know, tell them how you can help them. Be the smart person, period. Because whoever they're learning from is who they think is the smart person. But whoever they're learning from is who got them in that predicament in the first place. So if you look at a deal and you can help them, let them know you're the smart one. You're the smart person in the room, period. But that's only with wholesalers, right? You build that up with agents and you never do that with sellers unless they're asking you questions and asking you to go deeper. Then you can do that, right? But never offer that to sellers because sellers will go, uh-huh. Remember, you do this for a living. They don't. So they'll say, uh-huh. And you're like, do you understand? You get it? Are you following? Yeah, I get it. And as soon as you get off the phone, they turn around and be like, I'm never talking to that guy again. And they're out. They're out because you talked over them and they don't understand. And they were too, in their ego to admit, no, I don't get that. Can you tell me exactly what that means? They were too much in their ego to do that. So just don't put yourself in that situation, right? You don't want to do it. Focus on solving whatever their problem is. But you can't do that until you figure out what it is. And you're not going to know about what that is until you ask the right questions and then shut up and listen. Take a sip of your water. I see. That's what's going to get you there. That's what's going to get you to the finish line. Without that, forget it. But that conversation is going to now lead you into a position where you can get to, the negotiations part, and really this should be this is the fifth one, right? It's the fifth one because it just is. It's the fifth one, right? There's so much that goes into this, right? Negotiating, I hope you could have seen that, right? I'll read it to you. There's no number by it, but it's negotiating your deal structure, strategy, price, and terms. Okay? So what does all that mean, Mr. Miles? I don't get it. What do you mean negotiating your deal structure? Okay, so when you're talking to someone, they're telling you what the situation is. You're looking at the numbers. If you've got the right software, you can see what their payoff is. You can see almost everything, right? You're going to have a boatload of information right there available to you that you can have for yourself. You don't need to throw it in their face, but this is how you negotiate. You're negotiating like lawyers do. When a lawyer generally asks a question, they already know the answer. So we're doing the same thing here for you, but having the tools is going to help you do that. So now that you have the tools, you can go in and you can say, all right, I know that this person owes $264,000. They're asking $300 for it. They must really need to sell this house. Let's figure this thing out. I'm not going to be able to do a cash deal with this person because of the equity. It's too high. They've got only about 10% equity in the property. So that tells me right away that this is going to have to be, for us, a creative financing structure. There has to be a subject to deal. Now, depending on what the terms of that particular deal is, the interest rate and how much time is left and all these other things are on that property, that's going to matter, right? So if they're at a 3% interest rate, I can probably rent or lease option that house out for a lot more money. And I'll look at that. Then I'm going to come with the terms. Okay, I can give you $30,000 and I'll just take over your deal for the rest of, this. Or they may say, look, I can't go, 20 more years on this loan. I want to be able to do a few things here and there. I'll explain to them that, hey, you can absolutely do that based on how we structure it by utilizing, third-party servicing companies. Takes it completely off your debt to income ratio. You'll be in a great place. It won't hurt you at all. Okay. But sometimes they don't want to do that. They'll do it for a certain amount of time, which is fine. And then we structure it later, but it's all part of the terms. What the interest rate is going to be, how long we're going to have it before there's a balloon or whatever we're going to build in there. Learning how to do that is extremely important. It's extremely important because when you get people on the phone that say yes, if you know what your options are, you can have this done in 10 minutes. Literally have it done in 10 minutes. And for me, and anybody that's been on the phone with me, the very first thing I talk about when I have someone that's interested in hearing more about a creative financing structure, I handle all their objections up front first. Get them out of the way because that's what they want to know. What happens if you don't pay me? Right? What happens if the house burns down? What happens if the bank calls the loan? These are all the things. There's a few more, but these are the things that you need to address up front. I just rattle them off right away and say, okay, do you understand those things? Because I can go more in detail for you if you'd like, or we can start talking about, money and terms. And most of the time, if they're interested, they'll say, okay, those were my real concerns. And if they're still on the fence, it's really about them liking or trusting you. What we do and what we teach in my educational courses, I say, hey, if that comes up and they're looking for credibility, I give them our forward-facing website, I give them the YouTube channel, and I give them the Real Estate 360 site. Because in there, between those three things, it shows people, oh, okay, these folks have been around for a while. This is the team they're working on. Even though it's your business, I may not be in there at all. Use me. That's what I tell people for, because in the beginning, you have to build up credibility for yourself. You don't have it yet. You're just now getting into this, so you don't have it. You have to build up credibility. So as you're building up, use me. That's what we're here together for. And finally, after you've learned how to negotiate your deal, number 6, contract and control the deal. Get it under contract, control the deal, so that you can do whatever your exit strategy is, right? Whether that's you taking it down, whether that's you, and guess what? You don't have to sell that just to another investor. You can put that thing on Craigslist, especially if it's creative financing. Put it on Craigslist, put it in Facebook Marketplace, put it in, creative financing or owner financing groups, and put it out there. Zillow, if it isn't already on Zillow, and put it out there to someone else who has that cash that you might not have. Make your piece of the pie and move forward and go on. And either stay in the middle and make a little bit, or give it to the owner. When I first started doing this a long time ago, here's just the way that I did it, because I didn't have a bunch of cash when I learned this strategy. So what I did, I call it the pretty house technique. So what I did, or the pretty house strategy, is I'd go and find these deals. They were mostly, at the time, they were foreclosures or pre-foreclosures. I'd work out a deal, get all the information. These people are willing to do a subject to. We take the deal. I already had a whole strategy built up. We had a whole marketplace that we were marketing to. In fact, back then it was Craigslist, and there were a couple groups of realtors that I would work with and say, hey, here's an opportunity for that person that couldn't qualify for the loan. And those people would come. I might make a deal to put $25,000 down on this house and take over payments. And this person might come to me and say, look, I only got 20. I'll take maybe 7 of that and take 13 and go back to the owner, because let's say the payment is $1,400 to me, but they're willing to pay $2,500. So I'll go back to the owner and say, look, I can't get you the $25,000 I promised you, but what I can do, instead of $1,400, I can get you $2,500 a month. Can we do the deal still? Because if we're going to do a 3-year deal, that's, what is that? $13,000, $14,000 more per year for the next 3 years for them. So it makes up for itself in the first 12 months. And that's money that's going right into those people's pocket. Because remember, I was only paying the mortgage. Now they're getting all that money. And you're appealing to their greedy side, right? Not necessarily, I'm not saying they're greedy, but you're appealing to someone. Because just imagine if you've got a house you're selling and you agreed to sell it on owner financing for $1,400 a month, which was just covering the bills. Now you're actually going to make $1,000 for doing the exact same amount of work. And you're going to make more over the 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, whatever the agreement was. You're going to make that extra $14,000 over that time period. That's enormous. Or it's $12,000 actually, but that's enormous. That's a big deal. So these are the things that you have to think about when you're doing this. Again, if you want to have a conversation with me and you really want to talk more, we go in deep detail. We spent a whole day, I think 2 hours, a little over 2 hours Thursday, just talking about strategy 1. All right. These things take time. Okay. That was just the strategy. We go over this stuff in detail. And if you want to know how you can get there faster, or just have a conversation about where you are in your business and what you need to do, whether you work with me or not, doesn't really matter. The strategy session is free. Just hit the link in the description to this video. It's there. Let's have a conversation. All the forms that you're going to need for a creative finance deal are also there. You can download them. It's free. by all means, take full advantage of it. I'm here to serve. I promise you I'm here to serve. That's why I'm here. This is free. We do this every week for people that want to have some questions or that have some questions. Maybe you could be in another group, another training course. I'm still here for you. And if you want to talk about it and ask about it, I'm here, right? So before we get out of here, I want to make sure that you don't have any questions. I want to make sure that we understood this. If you have questions about this content in its abbreviated format, hey, we've got a couple of minutes. What do you want to talk about? Boy, I got to tell you, that water's good. Oh, these things that keep them cold forever. I don't even know where I got it, but it's good. All right, so no questions. Listen, I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. I hope you got a lot out of this. I absolutely look forward to speaking to whoever wants to speak with me. Again, the link is right there. Just set up the time. Let's make it happen. DM me even. Just reach out to me. The person that was here that had the deals. How does the conversation go? How does the conversation with me go? Well, first thing we talk about is you, right? With agents. With agents, I call them up and I say very simply this. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, my name is Jason Miles and I'm buying property in the area. What I'm looking for are any deals that you have listed. That's the key word there, or key phrase, that you have listed that you're having problems with, that you can't sell for one reason or another. It doesn't matter if it needs a ton of work, it's overpriced, the market's slow, but before you lose that listing, I would really love to take a look at it. Do you or anyone that you work with in your office have something like that you're familiar with? And that's it. That's it. That's all I say. Right? And then I build up some rapport with them. I crack a little joke here and there. Maybe they're out driving around and I'll be like, I hear you're out driving around in this beautiful day. Or maybe there's a lot of noise in the background. They're eating lunch. I think I caught you on your lunch break. Do you have time to answer that? Or do you need me to give you a call back a little later? Whatever it is, I just make small talk. I get to know people and learn about what's going on with them, because that's what absolutely helps. They want to know that you see them, right? What about the agent for a specific property? Well, that's fine if it's an agent for a specific property. I mean, all of these are specific properties, if you will. We cold call property owners, listed property owners, people that are 120 days or longer that are listed, right? We're calling the owner and we're calling the agent. Why do you do that, Miles? Why are you doubling up? Well, we're doubling up because there might be a disconnect between the two. Okay? The conversation. I literally just gave you the conversation. That is the conversation. That's how I open up. Period. If I'm calling an agent for a specific house, I say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, I see you represent the seller on 123 Main Street. Do you have any real offers on your desk right now for that? Because I see it's been, on there for however many, days. What's going on? And they'll tell me what's going on or what isn't going on. That's literally the conversation. And then I say, okay, well, listen, I see what the asking price is. All right. Okay, cool. Perfect. I already see what the asking price is. And I have some software that says they don't have a lot of wiggle room to move around for a lowball offer. I'm probably sure you got some of those already. But if your buyer or seller, is really interested in moving this relatively quickly and they need to, I'd like to give you an offer on creative financing. Have you ever done any of those? And they may say yes or no. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. 9.9 times out of 10, they're going to say no. I haven't done any. Some of them are going to just say, I'm just absolutely not interested. Oh, we did that a few years ago. It was a bad situation. I don't want to get into it right now, but I wouldn't even present it to my seller. I said, well, if I made you an offer, well, you'd have to by law. So I say that even though I know that the minute I say it, it's going to spoil the relationship. But you have to also remember, I'm calling the owner of that house. And if that agent is talking to me like that, when we speak to the owner, we're going to have a real candid conversation. Okay? Period. because they might be willing to entertain it. And this agent is trying to play gatekeeper, thinking that they're getting iced out. But we always let them know they're going to get paid. It's part of the conversation, right? It's part of the conversation. I want them to know they're going to get it. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your participation. It means the world to me. It really does. Reach out. Let's have a conversation. I will follow up with everyone right after this all closes out. Everyone that's reached out and messaged me, man, I look forward to working with you. And for those of you that are already working with me, thank you so much for choosing me to walk you through this path. I really do appreciate you and respect you so very much. Now let's go out here and get this together, because that's why we're in it. And remember, y'all, don't let nobody tell you there's just 3 ways to invest in real estate. There's 5. Wholesale, fix and flip, buy and hold, cash partner, credit partner. 5. So how do you reach out to realtors, letting them know you want knowledge from them? Well, let me make sure I understand what you're saying before I get out of here. So how do you reach out to realtors, letting them know you want knowledge from them? I don't really need any knowledge from the agents. I don't need it from them. I'm calling to give them an opportunity to sell this house, to sell a house. You know, that's it. I just call agents. I mean, you can cold call agents as well, right? I'll show you how to do that next week. We've talked about that a couple times. In fact, I'll tell you, you just go on to Zillow. It doesn't even require more than 2 minutes of a conversation. You go on to Zillow, you put in a zip code or a city of where you want to focus, and you put it up there. You hit agent, you put in the city, you put in listing agent, and then it will just a drop-down menu of, depending on how big or how small you're looking at, could be hundreds of them that drop down, and you can just call them. It doesn't cost a penny, and you can call for free. Use your cell phone. It'll take you forever, but you use your cell phone and call them, and then follow up with them next week. The ones that you speak to and are ready, that's one way that you get to them without knowing what property they're connected to or anything. Just reach out and say, hey, my name is Jason Miles. I'm calling you today because I see you're a listing agent in this area. I am looking for properties that have been listed for 100 days or more that you're having a really difficult time selling. We buy everything creative. I can assure you, we do this. You know, we've got, you know, we work with a group that does, you know, probably 20 or 30 of these a month, and we always make sure the agent gets paid. We're just looking for creative finance deals subject to owner financing, things like that, maybe a novation, depending on what it is. And I'm just wondering if you have any of those that you have listed right now. And the reason I keep emphasizing that you have listed is because the agent isn't going to hear that unless you continue to reiterate it and make it clear to them that you're only interested in what they have listed, or maybe someone in their office. Because if you don't specify that, they're going to send you tons of emails of deals that have been on the market for 100 days or more. You don't want that. You need to speak to that agent. You need to talk to the person that the seller already know, likes, and trust. It has to be theirs. It has to be. And the minute you've done one deal with them that was successful and they got paid, they will now always give you their problem deals. After a while, you'll have such a referral network, you don't even need to market if you don't want to. Not as long as the people in your referral network are continuing to work, but it's there for you. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. All right, y'all. Again, thank you so much. I hope this was beneficial and helpful to you. Put it to work in your business. For those of you that reached out to me, I'll be reaching out to you. We'll get something scheduled for this week. The earlier, the better. And let's make this thing happen for you. Peace. Hey, guys. It's your man, Jason Miles here again. I just wanted to come to you today because I've got something great that I want to basically just kind of give you. It's my second book. It's called When There's Blood in the Streets, A Real Estate Investor's Guide to Winning. Now, this book here is all about how I found success in real estate, all the things that I did to become successful, all the things that I've taught other people over the past 17 years now about being successful in real estate. Listen, there's no lying, there's no kind of softening it up. Real estate is at a time right now where there's going to be some changes in the market, and it's not going to be enough to simply just fix and flip a house. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. So you have to implement, other strategies if you want to find success. There are passive income strategies that we do right now, lease purchase, sandwich lease options, things like that, where we're not just renting, we're creating homeowners, okay? There are fix and flip, there is wholesaling, there is a lot of other things that you can take advantage of that are in this book and kind of pinpoint exactly what it is you want to do for yourself. And again, it's free. All you have to do is fill out the information below, pay for the shipping and handling, and it's yours. It will be mailed right out to you. Now, you don't have to take it from me. All you have to do is read some of the comments and some of the videos, the shares, just things that other people are saying that I've been able to help them with as they've been building their real estate careers. And then, of course, turning around and helping other people. That's the most important thing. It's not enough for you to just have. It's got to be a situation where it's being reciprocated, where you're giving it back, right? That's what this is all about. Now, again, this is the second book that I've written, but it's just for what's going on in today's market. When there's blood in the streets, you've heard the saying, it's time for you to kind of start taking action. And you may not have a lot of money. You may not have any money. None of that matters. We're going to go over the strategies in this book. So fill out the information below. You get the book for free. Just pay for the shipping and handling, and we'll go from there. And I look forward to working with you soon. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feeling today? I hope you're feeling great, doing well. I've had a lot of conversations over the past, I'd probably say about the past couple months, 2-3 months, about people wanting to get involved in real estate and asking how they can get involved in real estate given all that's going on with the economy. Well, you either have a lot of time, which means you don't have the money, or you have a lot of money, which means you don't have the time. And they want to know how they can get involved in real estate. Some of them have said, look, man, what do I need to do to just get into a deal, right? I don't really have the time to do all of that. So we've just invested their money in some of the deals that we do. So I'm here to open the invitation to all my friends and family that are watching this right now. If you're interested in getting involved in real estate and you simply don't have a ton of money or you don't have a ton of time, maybe you only have, $5,000, maybe you have $100,000, I don't know. But if you're interested in investing in real estate deals passively, truly passively, just reach out to me. There's no link. This isn't an ad. Just DM me and let's have a conversation. We've got deals right now that we can fund. Right now, as of right now, multifamily as well as single family. Deals that you can be in as little as 6 months and as much as 2 or 3 years. Depends on the scenario and what your particular investment strategy is. All I can say is let's have a conversation. So if you're interested, friends and family, just reach out. Let's have a conversation.